It's going. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
This is Elizabeth from Lazy Faye Loves Books,
Hello.
and
Hello. Thanks for having me on for your last live
yeah,
of July. Usually on the last day of the month, I am cramming to finish my books, but I am just about done with my reading goals for the day. So it worked out. Yay.
so that's good. I haven't really. I've been more focused on crafting this month and for the last few months than I have reading. So I
Yeah.
haven't really read much. So I actually don't think I've finished a book. I have read some, but I haven't finished anything because I've read a little here and there in a bunch of different books.
Yeah. Yeah. I did that
So,
too. I had, I think 8 print books going at one time, and 3 of them I'm carrying over to next month. But I finished the other 5 this morning. Well, I finished one of them yesterday and the other 4 this morning.
oh, cool.
Yeah, and then
That's
I
good.
realized one of the books that I didn't think I was going to be able to get on audio, I found it on Scribd, and so I've been listening to that. It's a Janet Daly book, her newest one. I mean, y'all probably know she's passed away a few years ago, but her family has been publishing some books, I guess, that she wrote before she died that were never published. So
Okay.
I've been reading those, and she's a little. I was reminded in this one. It's called Calder Grit. I'll show it in a minute. I think it's over here, but uh, one of the things she does, she lets some of her characters get compromised, I'll just say. And I just wish that didn't happen, get taken advantage of and, a little bit rapey, and I'm just like, I'm not a fan of that. So
No, I
I've had,
didn't know she had passed away.
yeah, I think maybe in 2007. I think it's been a while, or
Oh,
17, 7 or
okay.
17. I don't know exactly, but yeah, she has.
Okay. I might have heard it and just forgot since it's been
Yeah,
that long.
yeah. I don't know. I'll see
So,
if I can. Let me see if I can
yeah.
find out. So, what are
I
you
haven't.
making right now? What are you working on?
What am I making? Is that
Yes,
what you said?
yes. What
Um,
crafts are you doing, or crochet?
okay. I've been focused on crocheting, but I have done some what do you call it? Stitch markers.
Okay. Before we get off topic of Janet Daly, she did die in 2013, December
13.
14th,
Okay.
2013. Yeah.
Yeah, I had probably heard that, but that's been almost 10 years ago. So
Yeah, I know. I know.
I can't believe that. Gosh, 2013 is almost 10 years ago.
I know.
Lord.
It's crazy.
I was thinking earlier how, in one way, it seems like June has just passed like that. But
Mm-hmm.
then in another way, I was remembering when I was on, trying to think, I think it was either my second or my third live, was with um and Jeanette of AJ's Personal Touch. And that just seems, that was one of the first uh lives that I did this June. And it
Mm-hmm.
seems like so long ago. And I'm like,
It's
oh my
funny
goodness,
because when you think about it, I mean, now half of the year is done today,
I know.
and it just
And
seems like it was New Year's, a few days
I
ago.
know, right? I remember last Christmas, I'm trying to think, last Christmas, last Thanksgiving was one of the, no, I don't think it was the first we spent with my aunt, but it was one of the first Thanksgivings, one of the first holidays in general that I've ever spent. Probably only the third or fourth that I've ever spent with my mom's side of the family.
Oh,
And
really?
it, yeah, we usually go to my dad's, but now that my grandma's passed away, it's just not, it doesn't
Mm.
go, It's a
It was your dad's mom was the grandma.
yep. She's the one that kept it together
Yeah.
and was
Yeah.
the glue. And now,
Right.
so we went to my aunt, my grandma's sister, because my grandma on my mom's side has passed away. She passed away a long time ago, but her sister, I think she's the only one still alive because there was two of them, and one passed away last year. Last year? Yeah, last year. Maybe early this year. I don't remember. But yeah, so she's the last one. So we all went there for Christmas for Thanksgiving.
Does she
It
live
was
near you in Georgia?
she's in Alabama. She's
Oh,
about 4 hours away, so not too
okay.
far.
Not too far.
Yeah, it wasn't too
Good
far.
good
It
holiday
was good.
trip. Holiday road.
Yeah, it was easier for us than it was for her kids who live. I'm trying to think where in. It's somewhere in Florida,
Oh, really?
and yeah, they live. It takes them a long time to get there because they're in Florida. I can't remember
Of course, the Florida
where.
Panhandle is not that far from that connects with Alabama. So,
Yeah, but
but they may live
they're.
further down.
I want to say they're either just south of Orlando or just north of Orlando. I
Okay.
don't remember. I think
Mhm.
it's just south. I
Okay. Well,
think.
they might live near me then. I live
Yeah, I
in
think
South Orlando.
it's like Dade or
Oh, Dade
something.
City. Yeah, Dade City.
Yeah, Dade
Yeah,
City is
that's like an
where
hour or so for me. It's kind of northwest of where I am. But yeah.
when my when my aunt lived there in a retirement place.
Mm,
Um, she lived in Dade City, and he lives. I can't remember, but that's where the general vicinity of where they live.
yeah.
So that's how long it took them to get up to Alabama.
Right. Yeah, that'd be a few
So
hours. That would be.
yeah, because when we went down, no, it was the second time we had Thanksgiving because second or third because the first was when she lived in Florida, but we did it at her son's house
Hmm.
because his house is bigger, and they just lived in a small trailer because it's just her and her husband. So yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm sorry to get off on
That's
this
all.
tangent.
So I brought two projects that I've knitted and two quilts that my sister made that I thought I would show.
Okay.
And then I just grabbed this little bag hangs in my daughter's closet. And occasionally if I'm watching something in her room with her, she'll say, "Let's work on our knitting." And we started this more than a year ago. I think she got it in her head that she wanted to learn to knit. And I'm like, "Okay, well, I'll teach you." So
Okay.
she doesn't stick with it long enough for it to really solidify in her head. But she wanted to make an Afghan because her room is really cold. We added on
Okay.
her bedroom and bathroom and garage in 2019, and we put in a new air conditioning unit. So her room is right by it. So it gets the cold. The air
Okay.
conditioner hits her room first. So
Yeah.
she bought one of those. We went to Michael's and she bought one of those um, big giant skeins of yarn that will make one Afghan.
Okay.
Some people
Yeah.
call them blankets. I always call them Afghans, Afghan, whatever.
Afghan.
Uh,
That's what.
yeah. So I'm like, well, let's not have you start with that. Let's make something smaller first.
Yeah.
I said, because if the small thing doesn't work out, I can make the bigger one for you. So
Yeah.
here is mine. In fact, I'm stopped in the middle of a row. That's kind of crazy. Um, I must have been getting really sleepy. So hers, we're just making dishcloths. So
Okay.
here's hers. It's very tight. It's the one
Okay,
that you
you
do on
doing
the diagonal, and
okay.
it was always the basic pattern that um, everybody in my hometown learned to knit on. Although
Okay.
I think the very first thing I attempted to knit was a little house shoe that a lady was trying to teach me. But when my mom would teach people to knit, she would start them on this. And it's just all knit. You knit across for the most part, but you knit two and then you yarn over and knit across the row. And the yarn over increases your stitch, and that creates this
Okay.
little hole. So it kind of gives you
Okay.
a lacy edge. So when you get as wide as you want, then you start decreasing. And so you knit two and then knit two together and then knit across. So
Okay.
until you come back out to the next point. So anyway, this one's Katie's, and I'll have to make sense of mine, but I might knit on mine a little bit while we're talking. So hers is this
Okay.
light blue, and mine is I don't know if you can tell the difference. Mine's a light green, kind of a mint
Okay.
green.
Yeah.
But I've made several of these little dishcloths over the years. So my history of knitting, my mom was a home ec teacher from around 1950 to 1985. And one of her requirements as a vocational home economics teacher was that she had to provide some kind of adult education. She didn't have to teach it, but she had to arrange it and organize it and make sure it happened. So
Okay.
so she asked this lady from at the time I'm not even sure she knew how to knit. So she asked this lady from my hometown if she would be willing to teach knitting to a group of ladies. And I don't know, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if this lady got paid anything, but maybe there was some kind of grant or provision or stipend for her. I'm not even sure. Um,
Okay.
I don't know. I have no idea. But anyway, so it was this lady. Her name was Mrs. Rudolph, and she's the one who taught me how to knit because my mom was busy like facilitating the class and make sure everything was, everywhere. And I was
Yeah.
6 years old when this lady started teaching me how to knit. And I never finished that one house shoe. It was a mess. I think I still have it somewhere. Every once in a while I run across it and I just have to laugh. I think it's hilarious. I think I
Yeah.
finally gave up on it, and then when I started the second one, I think I ended up making a pair, or I just started over with different yarn. But I wish that I knew where. I eventually did a. I've never made a sweater. Never, ever, ever have I knitted a sweater. But
Okay.
I've knitted hats, like we always call them toboggan caps. And what was I gonna say? I I have this pair of socks. They're like lace up socks, and they weren't even that comfortable after I made them, but they're kind of fun. They were from the 70s, and so they fit the time frame. I've still got them somewhere, but I had no idea. Maybe if you do these lives next year, I will. If I run across it, then maybe by next year I'll put it where
Okay.
I know where it is and I'll show it. But they were different shades of blue, and they had lace up. You laced them up, and then they had tassels that hung down. Very 70s,
Sounds
and
interesting.
it was fun. I'm still trying to get my. Mine is on
The
round,
circular.
yeah, circular needles. I'm
Okay.
trying to. It's still a little bit twisted here. It got into a mess. Hi, Louie.
It happens.
Doggy's here.
I
Katie's
don't
dog.
really. Well, I'm in StreamYard, but I don't have. I can't pull up YouTube while I have StreamYard on because I'm on my
Right.
phone.
Oh, okay.
So, well, I'm on my phone because the last few lives that I've done, my computer just went completely out during the lives.
I knew you were having technical difficulties a couple
Yeah,
times. Tuned in.
so I need to put in the charger for this one. For this. So it doesn't fall out.
I have done StreamYard on my phone a couple of times out of necessity, but I don't like to do it because you can't see the comments.
Well, I can see them over on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're over on the side.
Oh, on your phone you can? Because when I do my phone, I can't. What kind of phone do you have?
It's
An iPhone? I don't have an iPhone.
Galaxy J something.
Okay, well that's good. Maybe
Android.
I have an Android too, a Motorola. I mean, it might be possible to do it on my phone, but if it is, I haven't figured out how. I'm not that.
It just automatically showed. It's got, you can do comments, and then you can click on banner, and you can click on brand.
That's good. Yeah, that's why I was doing the live stream yesterday, was just to learn some of the features of StreamYard a little bit better, because I wanted to be able to share my screen and show my Goodreads. Now I need to figure out how to do it. So I have yarn. I feel like I've got yarn in my nose. I want to be able to film while I'm showing some stuff on the computer and not just have to do it live.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that, but I do know that on StreamYard on my phone, I can't share my screen.
Okay.
It doesn't give me the option to share my screen. So that is one thing I can't do on StreamYard on my phone. And I don't really like that because I've been doing a little collab type thing, group thing with two friends, and we do it every other Wednesday.
Yeah.
And we switch channel. And if it comes to my time, a lot of times we will share our screen to show what we're talking about. Like a lot of times we try to shout out different Etsy shops. What we'll do is show like I know for the one of the ones we did stitch markers, and we showed a few Etsy shops that we liked that sold stitch markers.
Oh, okay. Do you have an Etsy shop?
No, I do not. I wish. But I don't actually. I wish I had an Etsy shop, is what I always think, but then that's just because that's the default that everybody goes to.
Okay.
As far as selling, I actually don't know if I would use Etsy or not. I might try to find something else, somewhere else to do it, just because it seems a little pricey and a little all over the place.
Well, you can set, if you're going to sell something, you can set your own prices. I mean, is that what you're talking about?
I know that, but they've got like, I think they've raised like the fees and everything, and I think they've raised how much they take, how much percentage of what you sell they take, because back a few months ago they had a thing where like a good bit of the sellers on there boycotted for like a month or something.
Really?
Don't buy from me for this month, or don't buy from me on Etsy because. And the thing was that I think it was around like tax time, and they had just came out that they made a record amount of money or something Etsy had, and then that was when they raised the fees and all the different stuff. Ooh, I like that.
Go.
Does that dishcloth pattern have a name?
I'm sure it does.
I think I might know the name because I used to watch.
It's an old pattern.
She doesn't have a YouTube channel anymore, but it was something hoarder, yarn hoarder,
Okay.
and her
It's from
name was
I
also
just have
Amber.
a photocopy out of an old knitting book, and it's just called Dishcloth.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
don't know. It's from the Work Basket. Do they still even make those? The Work Basket magazine?
I've never heard of it.
Really?
Work
Oh,
basket.
you should go on Etsy and see if anybody's selling old issues of it. It is what
Okay.
my great grandmother subscribed to, and my
Mhm.
grandmother, and my mom had some. I don't know. I
Mhm.
didn't know that they didn't do it
I've
anymore.
never heard of it, so
All kinds. Oh, you
they could
would
still
love it.
be doing it.
You would
But
love it.
what
And
I
I
wanted to tell you,
guarantee people on Etsy have some for sale. Go ahead.
okay, and I wanted to tell you that looks like she had a challenge to do one a week every week so she could have enough to give as Christmas gifts.
Okay.
And I think she met that goal or whatever for 2 years, I think. But it looked like that, and it was called Grandma's Favorite Dishcloth or something like that.
Okay.
So I just want to say hey to Samantha Stewart,
Hi,
who
Samantha.
is here,
It is a
and she
real
said,
basic pattern.
"Okay." She says, "How are you doing today, Amby?" And I'm doing good. How are you doing, Samantha? And but yeah, that looks like the one she was doing because
My
she said she learned it and it was just the easiest to do, and
yeah,
so
it's a
and
great
everybody
starter
liked.
program. It says I'm supposed to increase until I get 43 stitches across, so I'm going to count and see where I am right now.
Okay.
I am at 40, so I'm almost. So I can't knit too much on it because I don't want to get to where
Okay.
I'm decreasing before I get Katie that far on hers. So I might knit a
Okay.
row or two, but I don't want to get too
All
far ahead
right.
of her.
I always
I'll show
said,
put it together.
I always say that I tell myself I want to knit and I want to learn, I want to learn, I want to learn, but I haven't took the time to sit down and do that.
I always hear that crochet is easier, and I think that's only true if you learn to crochet first. Because I think if you learn to knit first, it's hard to learn to crochet. That's my
Well,
experience.
I've heard that. I'm trying to think if I'm gonna say this right. If you learn to crochet, if you know how to crochet first,
Hmm.
then continental knitting would be easier for you, is what I've heard.
What's continental knitting?
I don't know.
I've never
I
heard of that.
really don't know. I just heard that I've heard people say, "Oh, you should try." If I ever like in a live one time, I said one of my goals is to learn to knit, and it was a few years ago. I wanted to learn to knit. That was one of the things.
Hmm.
Big old lofty goals was to learn to knit. So I did buy some straight needle, but they sat in a bag forever, and I don't even know if I still have them. But and somebody in that chat said, "Oh, well, you should check out continental knitting. That's easiest for crocheters to do."
Okay,
And
I'll
I don't
look
know.
that up. I have no
I
idea
don't
what
know
that
what
is.
that is.
So this is a baby blanket I made for my daughter Katie. I made one for Emily that's pink because she was my first child, and so then when I found out I was having a second girl, I made all of Katie's stuff yellow, and it is basically just a large
Ooh.
version of the dishcloth. It's made exactly
Oh,
the same
cool.
way. You start at the corner and you knit two together, and then knit across, and then you start back over, knit two, knit not knit two together, yarn over, because a yarn over creates an extra stitch, which makes that little hole there, which makes the lace. And then you just keep knitting until you get it as wide as you want to do. But in order to make it a rectangle, you do have to do something a little bit different. I think you have, once you get it to where like the width you want, um, then you knit. I think you have to knit to yarn over, and then when you get to the end, you decrease, and that keeps you from in continuing to get bigger. It keeps it at the same, because if you're going to increase one, then you have to decrease one at the end in order to keep your rows the same length for as long as
Okay.
you want it. And then you start decreasing when you get back down. So anyway, I couldn't find
Mm,
Emily's. I'm not sure where hers is, but this is the one
that's
that I made.
pretty.
And of course, once they were all old enough to express opinions, Katie was like, I don't really like yellow. And I'm like, well, that's too bad. That all your baby stuff is yellow. You know, there's no going back now. But
Yeah.
this is something I made. I started this back in my mom's knitting class. I keep sorry, there's so much yarn dust. This is a leaf afghan, and the idea was that you make you make fall colors. So it's
Okay.
like falling leaves, and it's
Yeah.
like a little kite shape, but it's supposed to be a leaf. And you make as many as you want, and then you sew them together with one of those big needles, the
Okay.
big yarn needles.
Yeah.
So this literally took me 15 years to make. I started it when I was in high school, probably, or middle school, like junior high. And I worked on it for a while, and then I got tired of it and I put it away for a couple years. And then every couple years I'd get it out and do a few more. And the lady, and I was going to just do all my leaves and then start sewing them together. But the lady who taught me to knit originally, she said, I don't know if I would do that because you'll get really tired of sewing those together. She said, if I were you, I'd go ahead and start sewing together and laying them out before you finish. And that was good advice, because when I started sewing them together, I thought that would just be easy, but it was definitely monotonous. So I made I made it baby colors because these are colors I like, but it's way too big to be a baby blanket. It's just enormous. And because my knitting the tension changed over 15 years, um,
Mm-hmm.
I started out, it's not blocked, like it's wider at one end than the other, because my knitting
Okay.
just changed. But anyway,
Yeah.
I bought enough yarn. My mom always said, when you start a project, buy enough yarn to complete the project, because you'll never
Yeah.
get the same dye lots again. So it's
Yeah.
pink, white, and then the variegated pink, blue, and white. And I ended up buying too much. I still have some pink, blue, and variegated yarn in a box in the garage. So anyway, but it's
Pretty.
it's very large. It's hanging to my feet right now. It would fit a double
Okay.
bed, I think. It's
Oh,
that
okay.
big. So anyway, but I like it, and I
That
never
sort
use
of,
it, but I like it.
it's pretty.
Thank
That sort of looks like what Sarah from the Bookish Knitter, what she's been showing for her Cozy Memories blanket.
you. Okay,
Those kind of look like those squares that she does.
I think because she do them with scraps, like little scraps or
Something,
stuff,
yeah,
and she'll knit a
little
little
bit.
piece, and then she's sewing them
Yeah,
together.
she tries to do one a day, but
Breezy Ann is here. Hi, Breezy.
yes. She said,
Crochet.
nice to see you both. I used to crochet a lot, but I never did anything complicated. Usually just made very uneven blankets.
Yes, Breezy Ann,
Yes,
did
I've
you hear
heard
me
that.
say this is very uneven? In fact, let me just see what the difference is from end to end. All right, so here is one corner. So if I fold it in half, and it is the same number of leaves, it's just that it's just bigger, as I recall. I guess it's not as bad as I thought. It hangs over about that. Well, yeah, it hangs over about that much.
Well, that's okay.
Anyway,
But,
so these have gotten dusty hanging on my rack, but I wanted to show, since we're doing show and tell, a couple of quilts that my sister has made me. I have a whole video where I show this quilt, so if you want to see the whole thing, it's a real shaky video. I did it a few years ago. My sister made this bookcase quilt for me, and I need to hang this up. I took it down when we were renovating
ooh,
our
that's
house.
pretty.
It's a big bookshelf, and
That
she
is gorgeous.
embroidery. So she embroidered a little bit on the spines of the books, and even you can't see, but I'll show you on the backside her quilting, like where it's supposed to be wood. She quilted wood grain into
Ooh,
the
I
shelf.
love that.
So isn't that cool?
That is cool.
So that's
I
the
really like
actual
that.
grain that's quilted on here. And this was what she made for my 50th birthday. The bookcase quilt. And then just a couple of years ago, she decided she would make me another quilt, and she made me a coffee quilt. And this one is
Ooh,
meant to be kind of a wall hanging too. And I
ooh, I like that.
it, but it's really pretty.
Mm-hmm. I like that. That's
I
cute.
remember showing this one in a video. So this is its debut.
Ooh, I really like them.
I think she did some Mary Englebright stuff in it, maybe. That's kind of
Uh-huh.
what it reminds me of. The artwork reminds
Yeah.
me of Mary Englebright. And then the
I
back
like that.
side, the fabric is coffee beans.
Oh, cute.
Cute. Yeah.
I love those. Those are so pretty.
She is a very talented quilter.
And Samantha said that, and she said it again, but she said it up here that she's working on cottage core mosaic blanket
Nice.
and granny squares.
Awesome.
And she wanted to know what I was working on. And
Yeah.
then, okay, I'll show what
You
I'm working on after I read.
you mentioned it, but I already forgot what you said you were working on.
Well, I'll show it after I read Breezy Ann's comment.
Okay.
She said, I started a bookshelf quilt a few years ago, but I've struggled to find the time to get back to it. Yeah, that can be a lot of people's problem with crafting is they just don't either have the time or take the time because it's so easy in life just to get wrapped up in doing what you have to do in life and
Right.
everything.
Right. I didn't think about bringing my quilt in here. I have made one quilt. It's a t-shirt quilt of all of my 4-H t-shirts.
Oh, cool.
It's in the other room. So my mom quilted
And
it before she died. I made it the year that Emily was just born. And so she was still tiny enough to not run around. And so she was happy just to stay in her carrier. And they had a quilting group here in my town, and I went there and worked on it. And I started another one of all my college t-shirts, but by the time I got a good start on it, Emily started toddling around, and I never went back. It's still in a box somewhere. So, like Breezy Ann said, I'm having a hard time getting back to it. One of these days, I want to though.
they had a class at my old church. This woman that knew how to quilt, and anytime anybody had a baby, she made them one. But she taught a class on how to quilt, and there was a bunch of women in that, well, not in that class, but there was different times people would get together, and she would do like the smaller groups and like 3 or 4 people at a time. And then we had this big old party thing when you were supposed to be done with it. I wasn't. And then somehow, I think I got to the point to where I did a pin together to sew to do the quilting part. And then I did a few of the quilting parts, which was it was different squares because it was just a beginner thing. And I was quilting just in a square around each square, and somehow that got put to the Goodwill. So I guess I must have had it in a bag or something that I gave away. There must have been other stuff on top of it or something. Oh,
That's
Samantha says,
sad.
who is on the screen with you? This is Elizabeth from Lizzie Faye Loves Books on
Hello,
YouTube.
hello.
We've been friends for a few years,
Yeah,
so
I
we
am.
wanted to know.
I'm a booktuber, but since Amber does crafting, I told her I would bring on some things that I've made and that I brought the quilts too that my sister has made, so that we could make this about crafting as well as books.
Books.
Since Amber has
So
been mostly doing crafting lately instead of reading.
yes, so y'all wanted to know what I'm making. I'm doing an Afghan, and I call it that because that's what my grandma called it.
Yep,
That's what
same
my
here.
nana called it.
Yep.
So I still call everything Afghan and all. So I'm doing, and I named this, and I just came it up. I came up with the concept, and my sister helped me work out the math of how many of each color I needed. And it's what did I name it? The 2-color gradient Afghan. And it started down here with
Mm-hmm.
the seafoam green.
Okay.
And you do 8 seafoam and then 1 peach.
Okay.
And then 7 and then 2 and then 6 and then you do 3
Oh,
this
okay.
time.
So
And
increase one and decrease the other.
yes, and it
Neat.
goes all that way.
Okay.
I'm working on that,
Uh-huh.
and I made this stitch marker. Am I over enough? Trying to get it right.
Oh, it's a little owl.
A little owl with a light colored thingy, and then I got I thought I had the other one. Ah, there's another one that I made. It's another owl. It's just a different color.
How do you make a stitch marker? You have to have the charm and then you put it together on
So,
the
yeah, basically what I do is I get charms. They come on like a cardboard piece. Yeah, I'll show you. You like this. This is how they came
Okay.
on. All those holes were where ones were.
Right.
And I've got a few more left that I hadn't done yet. And it comes with a little thing at the top, I guess, a jump ring on it. So I attach a jump ring to the lobster claw,
Do you have
and
to have some
then
little tool?
yes,
Like tool?
they're all in there. It's what is it called? It's round nose pliers, and then just pliers or something.
Okay.
So I don't know what the other one's called. I just know the one's around nose.
Like that with pliers and stuff. I've never done like jewelry kind of thing. So thank you,
Yeah.
Samantha, for subscribing. I appreciate that. That's very
Oh, cool.
nice. Usually when I do a live stream, it'll show up here my channel name. I don't know why it's not, unless it's showing it on the little side picture. But maybe that's an option that you have to either put up our names or not. So, and that's fine. I don't care. Oh, it doesn't matter. She found me, so it sounds like she found me.
I don't know. Maybe. Oh, let's see. Hold on.
Maybe
I
under
think I might know.
settings.
Maybe. No. Hold on a second. Let's see. No, that didn't show. No, I don't know what it is.
We were talking about Etsy a while ago. You know, I do eBay, and some of my reseller friends do eBay and Etsy and other things. And at some point, if I ever feel like I have gotten a handle on eBay, I might branch out into Etsy with just some old vintage stuff. Like I have a lot of ephemera, paper items that could be for junk journaling and stuff like that that
Yeah.
I've got to sift through, and that kind of stuff I
Yeah.
think would do good on Etsy. And right now, and I sell scrapbook stuff too. I have a lot of scrapbook stuff that I could cross
Yeah.
list or list on Etsy. So,
The
and
difference I found with Etsy and eBay is that things on Etsy, since it is primarily the people that do the things, and on eBay, it is a lot of times just like somebody that their mom passed away, so they're selling her big old lot of yarn or something.
mhm,
You
mhm.
know, they know how much they spent on stuff. If they're selling like supplies or something, they
Mhm.
know how much it costs, and they're more expensive, I guess, on Etsy because, or if they sell something they made or something, because they feel like their time is worth, and it
Yeah,
is,
yeah, sure, sure. No, I
but
get that. So what
so
you're saying is, if you want a good deal on yarn, check eBay first, and you
eBay,
might get
yeah,
a better deal on bigger lots. And actually, the best thing to
yeah,
do is just go to estate sales, because if you
yeah,
can find, like, if you just want a grab bag of stuff, then go to estate
yeah,
sales, and you'll be able to find all kinds of yarn and fabric and things. If you
yeah,
the right ones, where if the person who died was a crafter or knitter or quilter or whatever.
yep.
So
And
Samantha wants
Samantha
to know
said,
how long have you been crocheting? And I don't crochet, Samantha. I just knit, and I learned to knit when I was 6, but I don't do it very often.
goodness, that is, I
And I'm
didn't learn that young, and
57, so I've known how to
I
knit over
don't,
50 years.
I don't knit. I crochet. That's all I do. But I learned when I was 12. So I think I figured out the other day that that was in 99.
Okay.
Because I remember 2000 when I turned 13. So if I learned to knit at 12, it was in 99.
Okay.
So that gives you any indication of how old I am. I'm old. So yeah, that's what. Oh, and I've been. Oh, it's what I'm sitting my thing on. I can move it just slightly so I can
So
open it
Breezy
and
Ann,
show.
did you see
Well,
Breezy
I
Ann's
can.
comment about cross stitch?
Oh, oh yes. I recently picked up a cross stitch project again. I haven't cross stitched in years. I'm trying to make time for hobbies again. Okay, that's cool. I've seen an uptick in cross stitch. It's now, what do they call it on YouTube? Floss tube is
Right.
what they call cross stitch on YouTube now.
I forget. I have dabbled in that a little bit too. In my daughter Emily's bathroom, there's a Winnie the Pooh cross stitch that I did for her, and it's still hanging in her bathroom. It's just a cute little Winnie the
Okay.
Pooh.
I'm gonna
I
try
I didn't
not
end up
to
bringing it in here.
have y'all be dizzy, but and I can't see right now what y'all are seeing, but it's this is the granny square that I did, but I've
Pretty.
got a bunch more, but those are the colors I'm using right now.
Those colors look beautiful together. Oh, I think we lost her. You're starting to fade out. You're freezing up.
Oh, I'm freezing. I'm sorry.
Well, you're back now.
But those are the colors.
Beautiful.
Mhm. So I'm trying to do those.
Blues are so hard because some blues just clash with each other, but those two look good together.
Yeah, I thought
So
they
many
did.
shades of blue.
And to
somebody
me,
with values.
maybe this is just me being old fashioned, but to me, it kind of looked like you got the boy and the girl because you've got the blues and then yellow and pink are
Yeah.
girl, and then the blues are boy. I don't know why my brain went that way,
Yeah.
but that's just what I thought.
Sure.
I don't know. And I'm not necessarily making them for any certain thing. I just thought I'd make some and then later. So probably make a blanket, make an Afghan since that's
Oh, we're losing
my
you again. You're gonna have to stop moving your phone around, and we're losing you. There we go.
okay.
Now you're back.
Okay. All right. I'm situated now
Okay.
again. But
Yeah, my mama was a huge crocheter. She crocheted like crazy, and she had 11 children, 35 or 36 grandchildren. And then at the time she died, a bunch of great grandchildren too. And every one of us have multiple crocheted Afghans because she could do it so fast. She would just, and I should have brought one of hers in here, but I have several of Mama's Afghans. And then my mom had a bunch. So when she died, we divided them up, but all of us of my mom's children, we already had our own. And so when my mom died, we distributed some to like her grandkids, the ones who didn't have very many. And I finally this year in April, when I went to Texas for our family reunion, which is at the time, it's my mama's family, and we have it around her birthday weekend, even though she's been gone a long time. We have a big auction, and the auction money goes for a scholarship fund. So I took a couple that I didn't particularly like of Mama's Afghans, and I took them to the auction. So I thought, with all the descendants that there are now, there's bound to be a few that don't have nearly as many as I do. So I shared the wealth. So I have a kitty if you want to meet one of my kitties here. This is Sweetie. She's a calico. She doesn't like to be held, but she was sitting here in the window. Sweetie, look, are you? Say hi.
So cute.
She's not super cuddly. This one. She does not live up to her name very, very much.
Well, I have one that my Nana crocheted for me when I was little, and then she had made me and my sister each an Afghan when we were, I know I was a teenager. My sister was, I don't know how old she was. She's 7 years younger than me, so she was that, however old I was. And then at the time, we had one of the many cats we've had, and the cat, we something, and we shared a bedroom, so, and we shared the both. I had one of them stayed on the bed, and no, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me because I was muted. I'm sorry. You were just fading in and out, and you're all pixelated. Yeah. So I don't know.
Am I still
if you want to try going?
Well, am I still?
I don't know if you want to try going out back in. It might just need a reset. There we go. Oh yeah, much better. Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Gotta wait for that part. Okay.
Yeah, and like when you move around, it makes it so. I don't know if you just be still. Just be still.
Still enough?
Yeah, I had muted myself because the dogs were barking, and I forgot to unmute when I started talking.
Okay. Well, what I was saying is we shared a room and shared a bed, and one of them we kept on the bed, and one of them we kept on a chair, and both of them, the cat put a hole in both of them. We noticed when we came home.
Aw.
Yeah.
I love cats, but they can be hard on stuff for sure.
Yep. And Breezy Ann, she said, I have several that my grandma crocheted for me, and one by my great grandmother.
Nice.
So happy to have those. Yeah,
special.
I'm glad to have some of the ones she did and some of the ones my great grandma did. But
Yeah.
what I think I told somebody this one day. I think it's so funny that, like, all growing up, my great grandma, okay, she was Granny, and that was my dad's grandma, and then my dad's mom was Nana. So all growing up, she crocheted and crocheted and crocheted and crocheted my granny. And my grandma wanted nothing to do with it, Nana.
Mm-hmm.
She was all, I got boys to date and friends to be with and stuff to do. So years and years later, she gets, well, not years and years, when she was like 20, she got married and had my dad and stuff. And her mother-in-law taught her how to crochet. And for most of my life, all she did was she was either gardening or crocheting. Gardening, crocheting, gardening, crocheting.
Yeah.
So,
I just remembered something that my dad's mom did. She didn't crochet or knit, but she did something really special. And I think I have it in my closet. I'm going to turn my camera off because I'm going to go through that door behind me. And I don't know who's behind that door, but my husband's in there. But I will be right back and I will show you because this is really special.
Okay. Well, yeah, they both crocheted, and that was their thing, was crocheting. And my great grandma, Granny, she sewed, and she even made my grandma a dress to wear to be in one of her friends' weddings. So, if that tells you how good of a sewer she was. And my granny made me a quilt. I couldn't think of the word. A quilt when I was a baby or when I was born or something. So, yeah, I had that. And then my mom isn't really crafty. Ooh, I'm sorry. She isn't really a crafty person. But that's okay. I still love her. She does other things amazingly. She's very into books. And that's where I think I get my love of books is from my mom. And my grandma. My nana liked reading. But hello. Welcome back.
So while I was out, since I had the camera turned off, I went ahead and grabbed the cross stitch off of Emily's bathroom wall. Since we were talking about cross stitch, it's not great, but this is what I made for my daughter Emily when she was a baby, and it still hangs in her bathroom. So Winnie the Pooh. But what I wanted to show you, and I don't know, this is becoming kind of a lost art. I have what I really need to get this mounted on something. I have a big one and two small ones, and I can't decide how I want to do it, but I'm going to leave I've got this velvet, but I don't think this is going to work right, but just so you can see it. This is tatting. My dad's mom, my grandma made tatting, and
oh, that's pretty.
Just beautiful. It's so intricate.
Yeah, I like
and then
that.
I have two little bitty ones, just little doilies. And so, like my aunt, she had one, and she had somebody else to do it, but they just with really fine stitches that you can't see, they tacked it down to the fabric, and then she framed it. And so that's what I wanted to do with this. But I bought velvet thinking that that would look the prettiest.
Okay.
But I think the velvet has too much nap. You know, um, I think I need something flatter, but I don't know. I'm a perfectionist, which means I'll never start. I'll never do it because I want it to be perfect. And but
Okay.
funny
Yeah.
story. Oh, my phone. When my mom died, I had kind of lost track of where this was, and I thought that I had it in here in Florida. But when my mom died, I wasn't even thinking about it because I thought it was already here in Florida. And so we were having we had a 2-day yard sale, and then on the second day of the yard sale we also had the auction, the big farm auction and all that stuff. So the first day when we were having the
Mhm.
yard sale, my sister, she was doing, she was kind of doing a lot of the stuff, like when people make offers, there was this bin that had just a lot of fabric-y kind of stuff. And so someone gave her a price for the whole bin. She's like, okay, great. Well, so thankfully they started digging through it before they left, because my tatting was in that bin and it would have been lost forever. And I would have been devastated if that had,
Oh
you
my
know,
goodness.
gone the
Yeah.
way of the yard sale. After my mom died, I was just so
Yeah.
my sister was like, "You should have already had that in Florida." I'm like, "I know, I thought I did. I don't know why."
Yeah. Stuff
I had
happens like that.
probably back to my mom to see if she would mount it for me, but she didn't have time. So that's probably what happened.
Okay.
Oh, here's another cat. We have several. This is Boots. He's
Oh,
one of our
cute.
15-year-old. Sweetie is 10 this year, and Boots and his litter mate are 15 this year. Our elderlies. He's real sweet, but he's loud. So Katie just ordered them some party hats and bow ties. We're gonna try to stage a picture for their birthdays with them sitting
Oh,
on the table with their little can of food with a candle in it. So I don't know, but
oh goodness.
it's a milestone.
That'll be
Yeah,
cute.
to make it to 15. So anyway,
Ooh.
sweetheart. He's so sweet, and Sweetie, I tried to hold. She's like, "Meh," but Boots follows me around, and he's a good boy. He's kind of getting dementia though. He'll he'll be right here with me, and then all of a sudden he'll go across the house and just start row row, and I think he gets lost. He goes around and forgets, you know, he forgets where he is, and he looks for me.
Aw.
So, want to sit down? We're cat people here and dog people. We have 2 dogs, but we just found a home for our little kitten that we were fostering, so that's good. I mean, it was sad, but it was good because that was the whole point, was we were bottle feeding her until she was ready to go to a new home.
Yeah, that's cool.
Do you have any pets? I don't know if you've ever said.
Yeah, we have one inside cat. Her name is Stinker. Stinker / little girl. I call her little girl.
Yeah.
And Stinkerbug or something, because she's actually my sister's cat, and my sister was her
We lost you again.
bug or Heather bug. I call the cat Tinkerbug. Am I pixelated?
You were just your audio was coming and going a
You're
little bit.
frozen. Am I frozen?
It froze up for a second, but
No,
it's
I don't know what's
better
going
now.
on.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. It's been crazy. Am I good
Yeah.
now?
It's okay. What's your weather like there?
Yeah.
Is your weather good there? Sometimes weather interferes with internet.
Um, it had been raining a little.
Now you're frozen up.
but it, but I know it has been weak. Well,
Your picture is freezing up. But we're
yeah,
almost right at an hour, so maybe it's time to
yeah, maybe
sign off.
we should just wrap it up.
My daughter's going to be
So,
getting
what
here
do
with
you have
dinner
coming up
here in a few
on your
minutes.
channel?
Well, I just did a live stream
Oh, what are y'all
yesterday.
having?
We are having takeout from the Orlando Biscuit Company, or no, Winter Park Biscuit Company, which is north of Orlando. It's one of the only vegan
Okay.
places that's like all vegan food. So my daughter and now my husband have gone fully vegan,
Okay.
and I'll eat it. I mean, it's fine. I can eat either way, and I've pretty much given up meat for the most part. But the like cheese
Nice.
and milk and stuff like that is harder to do. But anyway, it's really good. They
More
make
to you.
these chicken sandwiches that look like real chicken, and they're really good, and it's all vegan with loaded fries. So she was already up in that area today,
Okay.
and so we put our order in, and she's picking it up and bringing it home, and then her and my husband are going to watch. I think the new season of Stranger
Okay. Cool.
Things comes out at midnight, and so they're gonna they're gonna watch it at midnight. I will not be because I'm not caught up. I don't. I wait. Is it Stranger Things or Umbrella Academy? Maybe it's Umbrella Academy that's coming out. I can't remember. That we watch both.
Stranger
Well,
Things.
is it Stranger?
Stranger
Okay, I've
Things will
only
come
watched,
out tomorrow is the first. So yeah.
but I think it starts at midnight. I've only watched one episode of Stranger Things, and I will watch it one of these days, but I'm too busy reading. But Umbrella Academy is another show we watch, and I'm in season 2 of that one, and I think the new season of it
I
is
haven't
coming out.
watched.
It's a very unique show. It's very unique, interesting, crazy, but it's okay. But I don't watch much. We've given up our television. We just watch a few things on like Netflix and Disney Plus and stuff like that. And I watch
Okay.
YouTube.
You're frozen. I didn't catch the last
Oh,
thing
I
you
got
said.
froze up. Sorry. I'm just saying we gave up our TV. We just watch a few things on Netflix and
Okay.
YouTube and Disney Plus, stuff like that.
All
So
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
we've
sounds like
got
the internet
Netflix
is, yeah. I think the internet
messing
is not
up.
our friend.
So yeah. So I think we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say a little prayer and then we can go.
Yeah,
Thank
sounds
you.
good. You might pray for my husband. He's
Thank you
currently
for
COVID
letting.
positive.
No, sorry. So now we can start the prayer. God for letting us have this time. And even with all its problems, it was a good chat. And thank you for letting Lizzie show all her stuff. It was very pretty. I liked all her stuff. And please bless her and her channel and help her husband Randy with his COVID and hope that they don't get it and everything. And thank you for blessing these June lives and let me be able to do them for next year and many years to come. Thank you. Just number.
Amen. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. It was fun. It was a fun chat. Thanks for
Yeah,
letting me show off all my stuff.
yeah. Thanks for showing them.
Yeah, I figured since you're mostly
Yeah,
crafting these days, we'd have some show and tell.
yeah. Well, okay. I think we're gonna go. So.
All right. Y'all take care.